Well, how do we lead people through seasons of change? Change will come. Change is incredibly challenging. We all have changes in our lives that cost us everything, and some changes that cost very little from us. But one of the things we need to recognize is we do want to keep the change, and I'll just draw a few little coins there. Keep the change. What do I mean by keep the change? We want to keep change under wraps. In this sense, change is unsettling. Change is very disquieting for people. Even if it's not overtly expressed by them that they're having a difficult time, in most situations of change, they are. I worked many years ago as a counselor of juvenile offenders, and our staff psychologist did stress workshops with us. And they said that any change, no matter how small, has some level of internal shift, internal demand that occurs within people's minds, in their thinking, in their emotions, in their feelings, even in their physical body. And we need to tend to that. We need to keep it. We need to hold on to it, because change is good. Change can be very helpful. Change will happen anyway. But we also want to keep it under wraps. We want to steward it. We want to encourage people through it. We want to strengthen them through it and see them come out the other side of the change stronger and better. So be aware, we want to pastor change. So how can we pastor change along the way? Create familiar anchors. And here I'm just going to draw an anchor. Create familiar anchors. And what I mean by that is, as a leader, or particularly as a worship leader, this is for anyone who has to lead through change, but I'll focus in on worship leaders. We want to create familiar spaces for people. You know, some people have this internal mantra that says, if change is happening, let's just change everything all at once. Now, there may be a time and a place to do that. Overall, though, I think that if change is happening, you want to do it in as much of a gradual, caregiving way as is humanly possible. So when we say create familiar anchors, what does that mean? It means that if your congregation is moving to a new location, or a pastor has just left that was very dear to the community, or something very bad has happened, there's been a fallen leader, or something has gone on that's disrupted the flow of the community. Maybe someone important to the community died. Maybe there's a situation that's occurring, or maybe there are just changes that you're enacting to bring fresh life to your community. Creating familiar anchors means sing the same song that has always caused that church to rise in joy and confidence in God again and again. Make it one of the anchor points. Do things the same way as much as you can do them. When we were moving as a family from one place to another, we tried to keep our little traditions, our little games that we played in the car, our little normal pieces of our life together that reminded them that everything's going to be okay, that they can trust that not everything is changing all at once. Allow for emotional process. People will go through emotions, even though we don't like those, along the way of change. I remember a woman coming to me and she was so upset over the changes we were making in worship. And after about a 10-minute rant, I heard the voice of the Lord say to me, just give her space. She's just processing. I talked to her about how she was feeling, what was going on, made my communication high. It seemed to really start to put her at ease, and then she became my greatest champion in the midst of all the change. Allow people space for emotional process. And finally, in your own demeanor as a leader, communicate, and that is a voice speaking, okay? Communicate, rest, and trust. If you are at peace, if you clearly are trusting God in the midst of change, people will feel that. Over time, it will give them comfort. It will give them a sense of safety along the way. Communicate that you are trusting in God and you are resting in His highest purposes being fulfilled for your community through seasons of change.